This episode of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live is brought to you in part by Viewfinder's Identity Search and Design. Your choice for web design, graphic design, and all multimedia development needs. Visit VFISAD.com and let us bring your vision to reality.
This is Tom Gibbous, the voice of Shikamaru Nara from Naruto, and you are listening to ACMG Presents Talk Time Live. And it's not a drag.
Welcome to the show to give you all the news, views, and opinions in the world of gaming. This is A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live Extras. So let's start with your host, Xavier Josiah. Power up and game on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is ACMG Presents Talk Time Live, the Prime Show. I am your host, Xavier Josiah. Folks, we are back with a big weekend. As you may know, this is a huge weekend for us. I mean, for all fans of all things anime, comics, movies, and games. The mecca of all things ACMG is starting today. This is Thursday. San Diego Comic-Con is around, and you know this is the biggest event of the year for cons. This is the con of all cons, one of them at least, but at the best, the top. You know, this is where all the big news comes out of. This is where the big exclusives come out of. So we're going to have some news coming from there in the video game front for here as well. But also, this weekend is just going to be crazy on our Prime show. And yes, we will have a Prime show. And I'm going to explain why I didn't have a show if you didn't go on social media and find out last week. But we're going to have it's the San Diego Comic-Con time. So we're going to run down all the news that is going on, all the panels, especially the return of the Marvel Studios panel. Pretty much the marquee of the entire event. Last year they weren't there. Funimation took over. It was okay. But you know, we got a new chapter in the world of Marvel, so we're going to see what's going to find out. Plus, all the other really cool news and everything that comes out of there, we're going to talk about on Sunday. We're also, I believe I'm going to do this. I'm going to go see Lion King tomorrow. So, hopefully, the best idea is that I'm going to attempt to go see it. And the reason why it's going to be such a hard thing is because if you're in Philadelphia right now, it is a heat warning going on around here. We're going close to 100, and by Saturday it will be 100 degrees. So if you're in the Philadelphia area, please be safe. If you don't have to do anything, don't move. I'm not joking. Like, the best way to stay cool, don't move. Just don't move. If you got one of those new and like those new designed fans, they work really well. Sit in front of it, don't move. If you got an air conditioner, chill. You know, just find your way to be safe out here. Even in my office, because I have a fan in here, but, you know, also, I got the air conditioner kicking outside of my office in studio. So I'm trying to keep it cool. So I'm going to hopefully not sweat profusely during this entire show. And hopefully we can absolutely, you know, get through this heat wave. So if you're in the Philly area, just be safe, be careful, you know, and drink plenty of water, yada, yada, yada. So you know what to do. You don't be stupid in this heat. So the reason why I didn't do a Prime show last week, because it came to my attention that it was my 9th anniversary of my business. That is actually Viewfinder's Identity Search and Design, the one that started all of this. 9 years ago, actually over 9 years ago, but 9 years ago was the premiere of the website, which really put me on radar for people who are looking to build their dream. And well, I hate to say dream, their reality, pretty much. Because I mean, if you were focusing on your dream, you can make anything happen in seconds. And your reality, you got to work at it. So they're making their vision their reality at this point. And I've worked with plenty of great people, some interesting people, some shady people along the way, and but to much success. And I'm standing here right now doing this podcast. I'm actually sitting here doing this podcast, actually, but also reflecting on everything that I've done, all the people that I work with, all the great people that I had to work with, my clients and all that stuff. You know, people along the way that's helped me, reach another level. It's just all here. And, you know, even the people who, you know, didn't pull through completely, you know, those are the part of the story that I learned from. And I just decided to take a break to reflect on all that because there's a lot going on. I mean, my 9th year doing as a multimedia developer, that means graphic designer, web designer, whatever, promotional, content, whatever, media, that's including this podcast right here. But looking back at all that in 9 years from this point and, all the things I were able to do because of my journey and my drive, going to San Diego Comic-Con 2 times, I honestly, if I don't ever go back there again, I am okay because I managed to do it twice. But if I do a 3-peat, I'm all good with it. It's whatever. But at least I got a chance to see it. Getting a chance to meet people in every kind I've been to or, that's been on the show, really incredible people because of those adventures and me networking out there and stuff like that and covering those events. Stuff like that, getting to work with celebrities and promotional stuff or people in entertainment and stuff like that. Just never thought of my wildest dreams. And here we are, 9 years later. In about a month from now, I'm going to be hosting a comic book convention panel, that was invited to me by Repop of all people. Like that speaks a lot of what has been going on for the past 9 years. And I tell you people, if I say this before I get started with the news, if I say this to you, man, you have to, if you really want to, you have to do all you can to get out there. And that means you're going to have to grind sometimes. And that means some things aren't going to go your way and some things are not going to happen when you want it to happen, but it will happen when it needs to be. You know why? Because your passion is in it. And when your passion's in it, people are going to see it and eventually they'll pick up on it. But you got to put the work in. And when I say you got to work hard to have fun, I mean it. It's not just a slogan. It's not a hashtag. It's legit. You have, if like you think all that I do is just fun, no, it's not just fun. There's a lot of work that goes into it. But as you gradually go along and you master all of what you do and you keep doing this, it eventually just becomes second nature. And then it becomes fun because you're used to doing this. You're conditioning yourself to do this. So I tell you this to anybody who wants to do anything that they want to do in life, there's equal requirements involved. You have to just work hard to have fun and do what you love. Don't worry about monetary or don't do it for monetary, actually. Monetary comes in, it comes in. Deservedly so in some cases. But if you're worried about monetary only, you're not focusing on the big picture, and that's getting your love for what you want to do. Many people have made that mistake before, and as a result, they have not lasted long. And as a result, there's other people who have. I can tell you a few of them. Shout out to DJ Cutman. Shout out to Megaran. Shout out to Adam Shube. All these guys, they're doing their thing. They're loving it. They're getting high praise for their passion. And they're keeping it going. Molly Flanagan, shout out to you. Kyle Hayward, shout out to you. Ruben Langdon, shout out to you. All these guys at one point were getting paid like 20 bills or sometimes nothing, but they did what they did because they loved doing it. Some of them put out money to it, to their own projects, Vic Mignogna, say what you will, but during his journey, during Star Trek Continues, he actually put in the money himself. You heard the interviews from him, he put it in, So, regardless, put your money into it, put your passion into it, just go ahead and do it. Do your thing, man. So, I digress. Let's get to some gaming news because we do have some bit to talk about. And on top of it all, in our final stage segment, we're going to do the review of God Eater. I finally get a chance to review that game. Not God Eater 1, not God Eater 2, God Eater 3, which finally hit the Nintendo Switch. And again, it's one of those games I was like, I wasn't going to get it on the PlayStation. I'm at the age now where I'm just tired of getting two games that really are the same thing, unless they have some type of significant purpose. So I got it for the Switch, and we're going to talk about that at the final segment of our show, which is called The Final Stage. So we're going to check that out then, but let's talk about some news now. And for instance, first of all, before we get into all this other news here, I got to talk about mobile games, and in particular one that Capcom came out with. And I'm not a mobile game guy anymore because I got burnt too many times, and I know I get the scheme of things and what mobile games do. But this one, I gotta admit, I got to admit, I am all for this. It's not too big of a deal. It's like it's a card battle game that Capcom came out with. I first caught wind of this from Kyle Hebert, actually, the voice of Gohan, the voice of Ryu from Street Fighter, of course, and he's a part of this because he does the voice for Ryu, who's on the game. And basically, this is an easy-to-play card battle game, very user-friendly, very like the battle system is very simplistic in its execution. And it features all of the characters from Capcom's universe in a kind of epic, Magic the Gathering style artwork that comes along with it. It's really beautiful. Like Capcom is known for their artwork. And again, I hate to segue from this, but this is why I'm really anticipating being a part of another panel that I may be a part of, which is the Art of Street Fighting panel with the Udon artist, because we get to talk about this stuff right here and why Capcom is so, revolutionary in their art style and why they actually brought art to video games. It's a legit thing, and this does it again. It's phenomenal artwork, and in the same fashion, it's part manga, part Magic the Gathering style paint, canvas paint style. Like, it looks like an oil paint style of all the characters, but it looks extremely epic. I want to know who's the one responsible for that, for the illustrations for that one, but it's all that. It's really good. And not only that, you get to see characters from Street Fighter, Devil May Cry, Mega Man, Monster Hunter, and I believe more than that as you play through. While the game is free to play, though, it doesn't force you to buy in-app purchases, and that's what I appreciated the most. So I could just jump on and just play it for a bit, on the road or whatever like that, and just, not really get deep into it. Now, do I wish that games like this would be a more of a console atmosphere? Yeah, I do. But I see where they're getting at. And, of course, many of your favorite voices, I mentioned Kyle Hebert is in there, and many others that you recognize as well. It is available on iOS and Android right now, so go out of your way to check it out. It is, if you've seen it on social media, it is a legit game. And the only reason why like I said, I stuck on it is because Kyle actually, endorsed it because he's in it. So normally I see these games. There's a lot of times you go into, social media and you see these games like on IG and Facebook. You see these game advertisements, and a lot of times it's video or pictures of games that clearly is not them, and they're trying to get you. And then all of a sudden you download this thing and it's like this really crappy version of a game or something like that. It's ridiculous. But this one is a legit game by Capcom, and it's pretty fun. So go out of your way to check it out. Going to fighting game news. Ed Boon, just a while back, gave us a sneak peek at Sindel. Looks tremendous. Now, there was not really any news towards this, and a lot of people are starting to complain about Ed Boon's trolling online. And, I don't mind it. It's really funny. To me, it's not really trolling at all. I just think he's just having a lot of fun with what he's doing. He's leaving a lot of, hints. Honestly, I think this is not a reveal that she is going to be coming out, like she's the next one coming out. I could be wrong. She could be the next one coming out. I actually hope she's not, because I seriously want Spawn to be next. I desire for Spawn to be next. Also for them to get a new patch update, because that Shang Tsung deal with the Tower of Time is still a glitch there too. A lot of people are having trouble with that. But other than that, the you can still play it offline and there's no glitch on it when you play arcade mode. But other than that, I like Sindel. She looks great. We already knew that she was going to be on there because they already announced it. So this could be a tease as to what they're going to do. But there are people on Twitter that are starting to complain about Ed Boon is trolling and all the stuff. And it's like, yeah, maybe you want to take that back just a bit. But again, I'm enjoying it for what it is. And I love his content that he puts on there. So we'll see. There's no announcements yet. We'll see how when the next update is coming, which should be soon, because we're getting close to the end of the month. So I'm predicting that we're gonna get our reveal soon. I hope it's Spawn. I really hope it's Spawn. I want to see that character. I think that is gonna blow people away like crazy when we see him, and it's going to be in high demand, so we'll see. Speaking of more Mortal Kombat news, the movie. There's a lot of talk about the movie that they're in production, and they're beginning production of that movie. And they just announced that The Raid, if you guys remember that movie, the Raid, I guess he's a main star, Joe Taslim, is set to play Sub-Zero in this new, more gritty, rated R, I believe, fatality-driven Mortal Kombat movie. So this time around, there are going to be fatalities, definitely. Here's my case. Here's my situation with the whole entire deal with the Mortal Kombat movie. It's warranted that they should do fatalities, or it's a given. You know, it's warranted that they should do rated R, especially in this day and age. That's a given. I don't think they should go overkill. And I say that because I watched the reboot version of Hellboy, which I reviewed a while back, and you guys know what I thought from it. It was like, why did this have to be made? And it was just too gritty. It was gritty for the sake of being gritty and gore. And it's like, it was very gratuitous. And I just never saw a reason. It was just purposely done. If Ed Boon is behind this, if the writers, the same writers that have done the last few video games are behind this, I think there's a great chance that there can be a balance of violence, action, drama, you know, to it. If they do it, if they overdo it, it's going to ruin it. I think there should be subtlety. I think you should like yearn for it, at least to see a fatality, but not just be like a fatality every 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Like, let it lead into one like the first half hour or something like that in the story, and it comes out during the tournament or whatnot. You know, let it happen that way. But or just other ways. Just, you know, I trust, if Ed Boon's behind it, I totally trust it. If they have anybody else behind it without him, I'm afraid. I'm definitely afraid of how this is going to be, so we'll see. I'm looking forward to it as well, but, you know, and there's going to be a lot of comparison to the old and the new. I'm looking forward to it. So let's talk more fighting game news. Here is EVO has announced and revealed the entrance numbers for this year's EVO tournament event. If you guys know, EVO is the biggest fighting game tournament event of all time, one of the original esports in the industry. And EVO's back again, bigger than ever. But very interesting numbers here and results here as to what's the most anticipated game that people are actually entering for. President Joey Collar actually revealed this on Twitter, and it is as follows. Smash Brothers Ultimate with 3,492 at this time. This is where we're in at the time. It probably has increased since then. But the reveal is 3,492. This is the highest of all of the games right now. So right now, Smash Ultimate is the number one game that everybody is looking forward, which is a rare because all the Smash Brothers games prior to the years, I don't believe has ever, or really, I could be wrong, but I don't think I've seen Smash Brothers as like the number one game. It's always been Street Fighter. And not so far off, it is Street Fighter 5 with a very decreasing number of 1,929. Very interesting here. Usually, again, this is Street Fighter 5 is an ongoing series. I get it. It's been around for a long time, so I'm sure people are used to it, or just, I don't know, maybe that's a sign. But the fact that it's number 2, that's one thing. Smash Brothers is the new big favorite this year, so this is going to be number 1. Last year was Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is not this year. It went down considerably at the moment. Surprisingly, at number 3 is Tekken 7 at 1,885 entrants that is registered for this. So that's an interesting thing. Samurai Showdown, I'm not really surprised about Samurai Showdown. People love the game, the gameplay of it aspect, which I heard is very solid. Again, I mentioned this before. I refuse to buy a game full with less to none options and continuity, but at least the gameplay is solid. If all you ask for, I just don't think it's worth $60. But 1,719 people apparently do, because that's the entrance number for that. So you have that. Number 5 is Mortal Kombat 11 with 1,567. A game I've really never heard of before called Unist is one. I got to look that up. I meant to look that up too. I have never heard of this game. Unist comes up as 1,156. Dragon Ball FighterZ last year was the number 1 sought after entrant game. It was the most popular game in EVO that people wanted to play. Now It is at number 7 at 1,191. Soul Calibur 6. I totally understand why this is at number 7. This Soul Calibur 6 is at 742. And last, Blaze Blue, I forgot the name of the subtitle of that, is 640. So those two alone, I understand why they're there. But Dragon Ball FighterZ took a big dive from last year, which was, like I said, was number 1. I was expecting Mortal Kombat to be up a little bit more, but people have a short attention span in this case. So Samurai Showdown came out even further, and I guess it could be also that people are waiting for the next fighter to come out to see if that's going to be their main, to see if they want to go in. So that could be an option too. But even still, with Tekken at number 3, I'm very surprised at that. I had no idea people are still playing Tekken. But then again, a lot of that is credited to Bandai Namco because they've been doing a lot of Tekken tournament tours around the country and around the world. So there's a part of me that still isn't surprised at that, but at the same time, a lot of that probably has to do with the campaigning of the game, is why it's keeping alive at this time. Because the last pack that they came out with was the Negan pack, and I don't know how well that actually did. I didn't go out of my way to get it for that reason, but it's very interesting. So I expect this to be a really great event again, and hopefully Disney XD will be covering it again. But this is a very big esport. This is the grand of all esports here, the one that literally, I'm not joking, like this is the biggest and most cherished esport of them all. I wonder what the prize money is going to be this year, because now that you got the Overwatch League out there, you have the E-League out there, and they're giving up some major prizes. I wonder what's their prize. What's the prize for the fighters this year? So, and not only that, who's the PG Punk going to be back in there? As Sonic Fox is coming back, I'm pretty sure. There's a lot of great fighters, fighting gamers is going to be out there. So I'm very much interested. I'm looking forward to that. Talking about San Diego Comic-Con, just recently there has been announced that the Marvel Games will be doing a panel at San Diego Comic-Con, not just at any hall, not just in any ballroom. If you guys haven't gone to San Diego Comic-Con before, there are 2 major rooms, main stages that people go to. Is Ballroom 20, and then the bigger one and the most cherished and legendary one is Hall H. Hall H is the big, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of that or listened to the show. Hall H is like the biggest hall of them all, and then they're apparently doing a panel for Hall H. They're going to be revealing not only Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3, which this is Thursday. Right now it is 8:36. We're counting down the hours till the release of that game at midnight tonight. Cross your fingers, it is midnight tonight. But they're going to be talking about that game, which now I understand why it came out. It came out this week, right in time for San Diego Comic-Con. Kudos to Nintendo and kudos to freaking Marvel for doing that. That's very smart. There's going to be a ton of people with their Nintendo Switches up there. I know because I brought mine when I went to San Diego Comic-Con as well. So, and had mine signed by Yoshinori Ono. So it's going to be awesome that people are going to be able to get to play that game while they're in San Diego Comic-Con. You can't think of a better way to have a great time during that day. It's like the entire weekend. It's going to be awesome. But Marvel Games is going to be premiering at Hall H. That's huge. You got Ultimate Alliance 3 that's going to be talked about there, but also Marvel's Avengers from Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics, the one that had mixed reviews at E3. There is no news or idea as to what they're going to be talking about, how much they're going to be covered, whether we're going to see new footage. It's up in the air. How polished is it since the last time we saw it at E3? Which wasn't so far away. That was just in June. So I don't expect it to be extremely polished. Or I have no idea what the hell they're going to talk about there. Are they going to mention the mixed reviews that people have gotten since the reveal? That's going to be the interesting part. I'm hoping that they address it. I hate when the companies, and there have been companies that's hidden themselves from certain controversies, and I always hate that. I like companies who take on things head on, no BS. It is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. You know, I hope that that's the case. Or they'll give us some more intel. No, I'm sure they'll give us some more intel on what's going to happen, but we'll see. The panel will be in Hall H, as I mentioned, at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 3 hours from the East Coast. 3 hours prior to the East Coast, that is. And hosted by creative director Sean, I cannot pronounce his name, S.C.A.V., I believe it's pronounced. It's ESCAYG. And a lot of the voice actors of the game, which includes Troy Baker and Nolan North, who, by the way, segueing again, will be at Keystone Comic-Con in August to do a panel of their own as well. And there's also no word on whether anything else is going to be shown, what other new games they're going to be talking about. It can't be just those two, and it's going to be at a panel. So we'll see. I'm very interested in seeing what news is going to come out with. I'm pretty sure we're going to have all that news when we do our Prime show on Sunday, so stay tuned as news develops on that note. So folks, that will do it. That's pretty much all the news I have for this segment. I'm gonna take a break, come back, and come to talk about God Eater 3, the third addition to one of my favorite games from Bandai Namco, and we're gonna talk about that right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dak Xavier Josiah, the host of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live, the podcast. You want to catch up with all of our podcast shows and hear from some of the hottest names in all of anime, comics, movies, and games, such as...
This is Miley Flanagan, the voice of Naruto.
This is Stephanie Shea, the voice of Sailor Moon.
This is Ruben Langdon, voice of Ken Masters and Dante from Devil May Cry.
Hey there, this is Kyle Hebert, the voice of Ryu from Street Fighter V.
This is Chris Battle, character designer of Teen Titans Go.
Here's your chance to check out all of that and more on TalkTimeLive.com. TalkTimeLive.com provides all of our ACMG content with new and previous episodes, exclusive interviews, articles, and much more. Visit TalkTimeLive.com and let us help you learn to let go, live life, and love all things ACMG.
Talk Time Live.
Folks, this is our final stage review of God Eater 3, and I am here to tell you I am very happy. I am so happy about this game, and I will tell you why. Bandai Namco has been, in my opinion, Bandai Namco, for one, from a certain extent, I've said many a times that it was one of my favorite companies. And then all of a sudden, they pull a WWE act and start screwing up on a lot of the games that they have, or at least not screwing up, but half-assing on some games. Like, some games were good, and it could have been much better for the dollar amount that you're spending. And then you have other games that were like, what the hell are they doing, and why is this happening, and why is this left out, and why is there no, this or that? And I've been at a loss as to what's been going on. And like the last game I think I played, like all the Dragon Ball stuff has been great. Like the last great Bandai Namco game I played was Super Dragon Ball Heroes for the Switch. Awesome. Great card. One of the best card games I've ever played. That one did not fail. But then you have other ones like Jump Force, which for the PlayStation, which I was like, what the hell went wrong with this? This looked like this was going to be one of the most epic things they've ever done, and it became the complete opposite. It's still, to this day, one of the most disappointing games of 2019, bar none. This is still in the running for that title, and I'm still devastated. I have not played one DLC from that game. What's the other one? My Hero Academia 1 Justice, which I do like, but I felt like they could have done much more with. I like it for what it is. If all else, is a great arcade-style game. But I felt like they could have given it so much more, that Ultimate Ninja Storm feel, that, that Kill la Kill If feel that we're going to get soon from Arc System Works in about like another week, believe it or not. And I was dumbfounded as to why this kept happening and why these games kept filling budget. It was like right after they did Tekken 7. Tekken 7 was like the last great fighting games that they've done, and then they did Soul Calibur 6, and it was like, that to me was also disappointing, because that one was ever so deserving of the new generation production style feel of what we're seeing now in other games, and it's not. It's like, what are they doing? This is insane. I wish, this is one of the reasons why I wish I would have gone to San Diego Comic-Con this year, because I would definitely go to that panel. And I know for one thing, Uriah Hall is going to be in that panel, and I'm a big fan of I don't know if he still fights for the UFC or not, but Uriah Hall is no joke. But why he's there, I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. I guess if anybody asks a wrong question, he can roundhouse kick somebody legit and roundhouse kick their heads off. But I would love to ask them the question as to why these games have been lacking lately. Like, what's been going on with these games? I hope somebody's brave enough to be able to ask that question, because we need answers from that. We definitely need answers from that. And, you know, it continues, but I am happy to say that God Eater 3 has not disappointed at all. And I've been playing this game since the beginning. I've said it before. I'm not a fan of Monster Hunter. I will never discredit it. It's a beautiful looking game. It's a extremely deep RPG experience. For those who like that game, I think it's just way too deep. And then added to that, all of the Monster Hunter games prior to, and I've stupidly brought like 3 of them. None of them had a storyline. You're just going out there and just killing monsters for just the sake of killing monsters and surviving and all the stuff. And it's just like, it's a nature game, and I think that's the turn off for me. There's no real big reason to do all what you're doing in this game. There's no story reason for doing it. But except for, I heard the recent one does have a storyline, thank goodness, finally. But I still haven't reached out to want to get it yet. Maybe if it goes on sale, I don't know why I keep falling for these stupid things. But maybe if it goes on like a big sale, it's like $20, maybe I'll pop in it and check it out. But for those who wanted to have that hack and slash experience like Monster Hunter, but don't want the total extreme deep RPG, depth with it, this is where God Eater comes in. God Eater is a more user-friendly version of it. And I'll probably say that again in this review, but it's for those who don't want that deep experience, but still wants to have the fun of being able to modify weapons, and really cool weapons at that, and do some really cool stuff, and then follow a really cool storyline with some great direction as well. So this is for you. And God Eater 3 continues that great, legacy that this series has actually had. Great visuals, great audio, great, not great story, but fun story, an intriguing story, yeah, that's the best way I can say it. A very intriguing story that will grab you. It'll grab you. The characters will grab you. The visuals will grab you. It's just fun. It's not like to be the best game in the world. It's not going to be the best game in the world, but it is a lot of fun. So the story here, this time around, is basically I'm reading from what was said on Capcom's website. All of a sudden, unknown life forms called Oracle cells begin their uncontrolled consumption of all life on Earth. The ravenous appetite, devour, and remarkable adaptability earn the first dread, then awe, and then the name Origami. In the face of an enemy completely immune to conventional weapons, urban civilization collapse, and everyday humanity is driven further and further towards extinction. Now, that's actually almost the general case of all the God Eater games there. This version has a bit of a different feel to it, and it actually has a bit of a different story that starts off with it here. So, this story, unlike the other ones, has a group of God Eaters wielding the God Arcs, in which the God Arcs are living symbiotic weapons. When I say symbiotic, definitely think Venom. If you're a comic book fan, definitely think Venom. And I believe that they kind of took a little bit from Marvel in this case. When you see this, it very much, the God Arcs look exactly like, when they go into like the Devourer form, they look exactly like Venom, or the symbiotic suit, at best. They're held at what is called a port, and a port is basically kind of like a city, or a region or a county or something like that. But also this particular port is a bit of a prison. And these God Eaters are used to take down origamis against their will, sort of like in the same case of Suicide Squad. So when you start off the game, and if you played the demo, you'll see it. The game starts off with you in what it looks like shackles or handcuffs, which is actually your God Arcs, but they have them in handcuffs, shackled this time. And the only time that they're released is when they go out into the field to kill the origami. So they're literally, like, at this point, slaves. There's been no explanation as to why they've been captured or whatever like that, but this port pretty much have taken them under. And they somehow get into a situation that allows them to be free from their ports. I don't want to spoil the story too much, but they wind up becoming free and of their port prisons and end up finding a new port where they're work together freely to reach a certain destination and deliver what is believed to be a major biological weapon. Again, I will not reveal. There's a lot to reveal here. The story in this game is very episodic. It's like hours of stories in this game, and it really does a great job in character development in this game because it focuses on many of the characters in the game throughout the gameplay. So it's very much like an episodic anime series that you're playing in the game. So that part is pretty awesome. The new game play features is this new dash feature. Like they have a normal run and they call it a dash, but there's now literally a new dash feature where you hit the right Z button and you hit the X button and he dashes and zooms almost like he's flying like a few feet to get away or get closer to a certain destination or to chase down a large origami at the time. And it's a really great addition here because it really does help. Now, doing so will take a chunk of your stamina, so you got to be careful of how you use it in here. But it's a lot of fun to use. You get it kind of addicted, but you do got to look at your stamina meter because it depletes as you keep doing it. And that's one of the good things. Also new is the God Arc's ability. I haven't played God Eater 2 in quite a while. I don't remember this being in the game, but this gives you the ability. They now give you the ability to transform your God Arc into a more powerful weapon. So, for instance, if you have the dual blades or the twin blades, your twin blades, if you hit like the R button and what is it like B or Y? No, the R button and Y, you can turn your twin blades into like a dual bladed staff, and you can start using it to dish out more damage to them in there. So that it's the great part about it is that this form does give you more power for attacks, and it takes out origami much faster. Again, using this feature will deplete stamina much faster than it would like a dash. So you have to be careful as to how much you use it, and when, at least for certain weapons. Not all weapons use the stamina like that. Like if you use the I forgot that the weapon. What's the ring? The weapon that's like a ring, like a hula hoop, pretty much. That doesn't take too much, but that transforms into a humongous looking axe, and it takes a lot of damage from there as well, but it doesn't deplete stamina for there. But other ones like the sickle, or the actual sickle that you have, that does deplete some stamina. So you got to be careful because they take it out much faster. And if you don't stop attacking, your avatar character will become fatigued, and you won't be able to move at all until your stamina comes back. This can absolutely lead to a lot of trouble in your case if you're out in the field, even with your really good AI out here, and it'll leave you to get really ran over. Your energy is taken out by by fighting large origami or the ash origami out there. So you got to be careful. You got to use it strategically and timely when you do so. There are tons of ways to customize your avatar's clothing, God Arcs, items, and much more, much like the other games before. The AI in this game has always been my favorite. It's always one of the strongest elements of this game. It really is. Like, I've played games that require you to rely on AI in the past, and they have not been successful. I've never had trouble with relying on AI to help you by your side in God Eater. Never. It's like the one thing that they got so strongly in this game. you team up with a AI cooperative, fighting team alongside it. You get to pick out some of your the people that you want alongside with you, and you can customize them as well, and make it so they can be very reliable for you in the field when you get out there. Except certain times they're going to be like for story developments, they're going to be some people that come with you by default. So you'll have to go with that. But for the most part, if you're doing like other, modes and all the stuff, other stages and fields, you're going to be able to pick the people that you want to come along with you that you think will be to your advantage. And if you're defeated, this is the beautiful part. If you're ever defeated and taken out by Origami, no problem. Once you get out, your team will try their best to get to you as soon as possible to revive you, so you can stay in the game for long. Now, granted, you can only do this for a certain amount of times because you have a meter on the side of you that shows how many times you can get knocked out before the game is completely over. 9 chances out of 10, you will be able to beat your Origami. Again, this is a much easier gameplay than Monster Hunter, because Monster Hunter, man, you could try to beat them until they're tired, but there's ways to figure out how you could beat these guys as well. Like there's certain consumables or whatever like that in God Arc, Abandoned God Arc, consumables that you can add on to see how close you are to beating the Origami in there as well. The cardiograph is one of them. So you have that there. I mean, it's just much easier, but the fact that your team does not leave you hanging, and the minute that you're out, they will reach out to you as much as possible. Now, if there's Origami in front of you blocking their path, which I think is really cool and strategic for the AI to notice that, it's harder for them to get through, and that's fine. If you don't reach them in time and the time runs out, you'll just respawn somewhere else, which kind of leaves everybody else hanging over there. So you got to try to get to them as quickly as possible to join the fight again. But otherwise, they stick with you to the bitter end. Like, these are foxhole-worthy AIs right here. So that's a really great thing. Again, I absolutely love it. The visuals in here are as stunning as ever, and eye-popping anime character design with very vibrant colors and animation. And I look at this game, and I look at Bloodstain that just came out a few weeks ago or a while ago, where I just reviewed, and there's all to talk about why the visuals look the way they do on that game, and not on, like, as opposed to the PlayStation or the PC version or the Steam version or whatever. Yeah, after looking at God Eater 3, there is no excuse, because this game looks just as awesome on here as it does on the other games. And I believe it's 720 in the handheld, and it's 1080 on the actual port in a TV port version, or the dock version, if you will. And I don't understand where Blood Rain went wrong and what third-party company they were working with to, translate all of this in there. But God Eater kind of made them look bad. Really. I mean, more than just look bad from here. If I can tell you, I enjoyed playing God Eater 3 way more than I did Bloodstain. Like, I am so deep into this game. The story, everything is just awesome. Bloodstain was good to me, but it didn't. And again, it could be the fact that I'm not really a Metroidvania type of person, or whatever they want to call it. But this one just draws me in so more, and it's way more action packed. There's, the fighting itself. There's a hack and slash element to it, but there's definitely more ways that you can hack and slash. Just different techniques, different abilities and all this stuff. So the gameplay is so deep. There's so much depth to the gameplay as opposed to Bloodstain, which actually was supposed to be like a modern day version of a retro game, but at the same time, it's like you did the visuals and updated those. Why not update the fighting mechanics as well? At least we got this from here. So mission modes are as fun as ever as well. As I mentioned before, user friendly compared to like Capcom Monster Hunter series. And while the maps aren't as huge per se, they do still provide enough for you and your friends to, playing online or co-op to have a lot of fun with. I absolutely love them. There are different versions. There's like certification maps there, which all of these give you beating all of these will give you more materials and new weapons to, modify and craft and everything in there. So, and help you become a way more powerful God Eater as you go through and play through the story mode and such. So, and again, I believe there's New Game Plus in here. So I don't know why they have it here, but don't have it, or at least not even got, New Game Plus, but you have the ability to go into archives and look at all of the cutscenes, and there's a ton of cutscenes in this game all through it. You can't even do that in Jump Force. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about with the entire Bandai Namco dynamic here with their games. Is like, you got God Eater here, which allows you to play through this game again. You got games like My Hero Academia, you got Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Heroes, Super Dragon Ball Heroes, at least, that lets you play through the game all over again. With New Game Plus, you got Xenoverse, who's still coming out with content, and you're able to play 3 different story modes in the Switch version, at least in comparison to the other ones. I don't understand. I don't understand where they went wrong with some of the games that they had, but this one, again, they went right with it. So, like I said, I like the story. It's not the greatest in the world, but the character development, I love in this game. I love what they did. It's a lot of fun. It's enjoyable. It's action packed. There's a hint of certain animes that you saw. Essence of certain animes that you love. If you like, kind of like the, I would say this has more of a Gundam like vibe to it in some cases, but it does hold its own. They do have an anime for God Eater that finally came out based on the original God Eater game. So if you haven't seen that yet, go out of your way to check that out, and then go out of your way to check out the other 2 as well, which is available on PlayStation and Xbox, I believe. I have a hard time not believing that the first 2 will not end up remastered and on the Switch. It'll be worth it. As the story moves along, you find out more secrets, which unveils some characters in the game, and followed by some really good action scenes as well, and some anime scenes, cutscenes in it as well. Like when you go into the archives and you play through the game, there is so many cutscenes in this game. It ain't funny. And even if you change your avatar's outfit or weapons, it will appear in every cutscene that is not animated. So, I mean, it really engages you. There's so much done right with this game. I absolutely love it. But even best part about this all, Bandai Namco even flipped the bill for an English voice cast, and they did not disappoint one bit. I love the cast. I'm pretty sure I recognize some of the voices from some of your favorite animes or other video games and such too. They did a really great job on this. This is one of the better games that Bandai Namco has come out this year. So overall, if you're like me and don't really like the deep RPG experience of a Monster Hunter, but you want the hack and slash gameplay with the story, this game is for you. Absolutely. Go out of your way to check it out. God Eater 3. Honestly, if you haven't played any of the God Eater games, you can still play this game because it's a totally different story from the other God Eater games, and enjoy it just as well. But I do recommend playing all 3 of the God Eater games because they're worth it. Whether you have it on a PS Vita, the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 3, or even Xbox, it's worth going out of your way to get because it's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. Because of the AI experience, it's great playing as a single player, and it's great playing on co-op or online as well. So go out of your way to check it out. This is a great game to have. Nothing said. If I give it a grade, it'll be a B+. Enough said. Folks, that will do it for this edition of Select Start. Thank you guys so very much. This Sunday, again, I will definitely be talking about all of the highlights of everything that happened. This is our annual San Diego Comic-Con highlight weekend. So we're going to be talking about 2019 and what they had to offer. I got a feeling it's going to be huge since Marvel Studios is back headlining the show. This is going to be the most sought after panel of all. They're back taking their throne at Hall H. And we're going to talk about what they had to offer as well as everything that has come from that event. I will also... Chances are I will go out of my way to go see Lion King. Again, in Philadelphia, it's dreadfully hot up here. Right now, in fact, it's already 79 degrees. It's just turning 9 o'clock. That is ridiculous. People, again, in Philly, in the Delaware Valley region, Jersey, Delaware as well, be safe out here. It's really hot out here. Just, chill. If you do the right thing, just keep it chill. No violence. Keep it cool, man. Just keep it classy. If you're in the West Coast, enjoy that great weather you guys are having up there. And I know you guys are going to have a great time up there. So the journey will move on. And again, we're counting down the days to our own con as well here at Keystone Comic Con in Philadelphia on August 23rd to the 25th, with the 25th being the day of all panels, and I like the way they're doing here. So my panel will be a part of it, the Voices of Overwatch. We're still checking. I haven't heard any word as to when the Art of Street Fighter panel will be, but we'll give you more information on that as well. But there are more panels that will be on Sunday as well. So the whole Sunday is going to be a day of panels, and I like that they did that and they didn't spread out the panels for all day. So everybody is going to get the chance to see a panel on Sunday, and that's what they're going to do. I thought that was a very smart idea to do. It looks like they're leading to do that. So I'm working on getting the recent the brand marketing coordinator for this event on the show as well. I've been talking to her, Betty. She's been very nice. She's been grateful to A.C.M.G. and Talk Time Live and myself. So I'm hoping to have her on to talk about everything that's happening right now and what we are going to be looking forward to this event. I know they're doing a lot right now to prep up for this event. So hopefully I'll get some answers as to when or if she'll be able to come on soon. And we'll see. I'm looking forward to that event coming up as well. So a lot going on. So folks, that will do it for me. On behalf of myself, this is Xavier Josiah saying, learn to let go, live life, and love all things anime, comics, movies, and games. This is A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live. I am out of here, folks. I will talk to you Sunday. Take care. Music for this episode is provided by GameChops. Check out these great chiptune tracks and more at music.gamechops.com.